Hello everyone, welcome to the weekly current affairs revision module for CLAT 2021 from the first week of February, which is brought to you by Noobs Law School. In this particular video, we'll be covering some important current affairs from the first week of February. And the notes or the PDF of this presentation will be available on our Telegram channel, Noobs Law School, and the link to the same will be dropped down in the description. Let's get started. In this particular video, we'll discuss the basics of Union budget, economic survey, and also military coup in Myanmar, and toolkit shared by Greta Thunberg, and charges filed by Delhi police on sedition, conspiracy, and promoting enmity against some unknown persons, and 7 most important one-liners or facts from the budget speech, which are very important for ALET, symbiosis, and other law entrance exams, and also for CLAT. So let's look into our first topic, that is Union budget. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman presented the Union Budget 2021-2022 on the 1st of February 2021. So after this, almost all the newspapers, news channels, and YouTube channels have started discussing about the Union Budget. So you might have got this doubt, that is, should I read the entire budget document and Finance Minister's speech? So the answer to which is a big no. You need not read the entire thing. CLAT consortium, which is conducting entrance exam for national law universities at the UG level, is testing aspirants who are at a level of 12th grade. So they will not expect you to know all the things which are there in the budget document or finance minister's speech or in the finance bill or the highlights. So you need not go through all those, but you have to focus on some important basic things which I'll discuss in this video. First, you have to know what are the constitutional provisions relating to budget. Article 112. So before that, let me tell you one important thing, that is, the word budget is nowhere mentioned in the Indian Constitution, but it is termed as annual financial statement. So the annual financial statement we'll use in our colloquial terms or in general terms as budget. Article 112 states that President shall, in respect of every financial year, cause to be laid before the Parliament annual financial statement. So annual financial statement is generally a report or a statement of revenue and expenditure of the government, and every financial year it should be laid before the Parliament. So this is a main constitutional provision pertaining to the Union budget. And other important two provisions are Articles 265 and 266. Article 265 states that no tax shall be levied or collected except by the authority of law, that is, a competent legislature. That is, taxation needs the approval of Parliament. In every budget we generally include some new taxes, or we make the taxes constant, or we may reduce the taxes or include new slabs. So this tax needs the approval of Parliament. So only a competent legislature has the power to levy tax or collect the tax. And Article 266 provides that no expenditure can be incurred except with the authorization of the legislature. That is, expenditure needs the approval of Parliament. If you want to withdraw or if you want to use a single penny from the government's treasury, the approval of Parliament is required. And for that, we generally present the annual financial statement and other money bills and finance bills. So these are the important constitutional provisions. The most important one is Article 112, and 265 and 266 are also important. And now let us discuss about the budget 2021-2022. So the Union Budget 2021 became the first ever paperless budget. Earlier, it used to be presented by using some papers. So the finance minister or any other minister who is presenting the budget used to get some papers and read out the budget speech from there. But now, finance minister has presented the budget, or she has read the budget using a made in India tablet, and all other ministers, MPs, and general public can access the budget documents by a mobile application that was launched by Government of India. So there are 6 major pillars in budget 2021-2022. So the budget proposals are based on these 6 pillars. First one is health and well-being. Second is physical and financial capital and infrastructure. Third is inclusive development for aspirational India. And four is reinvigorating human capital. Five is innovation and R&D. Sixth one is minimum government and maximum governance. So these are the six pillars on which the budget proposals are made. And you need not go into the entire details of these six, but you just need to have an idea of all these six things. And some other important facts pertaining to union budget. The first union budget of India was introduced on April 7, 1860 by the East India Company to the British Crown. The first budget of India was presented by James Wilson, who is a Scottish economist. So this is a budget which was presented before independent India. And the first budget of independent India was introduced on November 26. So what is the significance of November 26? Drop it down in the comments below if you know the answer. On November 26, 1947, it was presented by R.K. Shanmugam Chetty, who is India's first finance minister, and about 46% of the budget, amounting to 92.47 crore rupees, was allotted to the defense. The budget was printed in English language only until 1955, but after 1955 it has been printed in English and Hindi, both the languages. Until date it is printed in both the languages. So former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was the first woman in Indian history to present the union budget, that is in the financial year 1970 and 71. Nirmala Sitharaman became the first full-time women finance minister to present the budget in 2019, and this is her third budget. So Indira Gandhi was holding the finance minister portfolio with her as an additional portfolio, as she did not allot the finance minister portfolio to any other minister, so that the prime minister will automatically become the finance minister, and she presented the budget. But Nirmala Sitharaman is the first full-time women finance minister, and the budget is presented on 1st February so that it can materialize before the commencement of new financial year. So new financial year generally starts on the 1st of April, but till 2016 the budget was presented on the last working day of February. But after 2016, that is in 2017, the budget started to be presented on the 1st of February. And in 2017, a 92-year-old tradition was broken when the railway budget was merged with the union budget and presented together. Even in 2021-22, both railway budget and union budget are presented together. So the tradition of presenting both the budgets separately was ended in 2017, and the budget has to be passed by Lok Sabha before it can come into effect, because budget is a money bill and money bill needs to be introduced only in Lok Sabha and it must get the assent of Lok Sabha. And the Economic Survey of India is released ahead of the presentation of budget, and this document is prepared under the guidance of Chief Economic Advisor and is presented for discussion in both the houses during the budget session. So what is this Economic Survey of India? So that is our second topic. Second topic is Economic Survey. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman presented the Economic Survey that details the state of economy ahead of government's budget for the fiscal beginning April 1, 2021. So Economic Survey was presented a day before presenting the union budget in the parliament, and the foundational theme of this Economic Survey is saving lives and livelihoods. And what is Economic Survey? The Economic Survey of India is an annual document which is released by the Ministry of Finance, Government of India. And this Economic Survey contains the most authoritative and updated source of data on India's economy. And this is a report that government presents on the state of economy in the past 1 year and the challenges that the Economic Survey is anticipating and their possible solutions. So how is it? So Economic Survey generally has two volumes. First volume is the suggestions to the government. We talked that Economic Survey generally gives possible solutions. So this solution part is in volume 1 of the Economic Survey, and volume 2 generally talks about the data related to previous fiscal. That is the report of the government on the state of economy for the past year. So the past year's economics or the past year's statistics are in the second volume, whereas suggestions or solutions are in the first volume. And important facts with respect to economic survey. So economic survey is prepared by the Department of Economic Affairs. So the economics division of the Department of Economic Affairs, which is under the Ministry of Finance, and this economic survey is prepared under the guidance of Chief Economic Advisor. So the present Chief Economic Advisor is Krishnamurthy Subramaniam, and it is usually presented a day before the union budget is presented in the parliament. And remember, economic survey is not a constitutional obligation. There is no provision in the Indian constitution which says that economic survey should be tabled before the parliament. No, it is usually presented by the government. And the first economic survey in India was presented in the year 1950-51. Till 1964, it was presented along with the union budget, but from 1964, it has been delinked from the union budget and is generally presented a day before the union budget. Third important topic is military coup in Myanmar. So we'll understand this thing in a very simpler way. So first, what is a coup? The dictionary definition of coup is a sudden, violent and illegal seizure of power from a government. And what is this Myanmar? So Myanmar is a Southeast Asian country which is also known as Burma, with Naypyidaw as its capital. So what does this topic military coup in Myanmar states as? Military has suddenly, violently and illegally seized the power from a democratically elected government in Myanmar. So the government or the powers are shifted from a democratically elected government to a military that is suddenly, violently and illegally, not legally. Now we'll understand more about this military coup. So recently the Myanmar military has grabbed power in a coup. This is not the first time. This is the third time in the Myanmar's history since its independence from British rule in 1948. A one long year state of emergency has been imposed and the democratically elected leader Aung San Suu Kyi has been detained. Let us discuss more about the military coup. In November 2020, parliamentary elections were held to the Parliament of Myanmar, and Suu Kyi's party, that is National League for Democracy, secured majority of seats. And in Myanmar's parliament, you should note that the military holds 25% of the total seats according to the 2008 military drafted constitution, and several key ministerial positions like defense, finance and security are reserved for military appointees. So when the newly elected Myanmar lawmakers were to hold the first session of parliament in 2021, that is Suu Kyi's National League for Democracy candidates, so they were beginning to hold the first session. They are beginning to hold the first session of parliament in 2021 in the month of February. And at that point of time, the military imposed a state of emergency for 1 year. And what is the reason that they have cited? That is massive voting fraud in the parliamentary elections. So does the military have power to impose emergency? Yes, the president of Myanmar is empowered to do so under Article 417 of Myanmar's constitution. And we'll understand it in greater detail. So there are two major political parties in Myanmar. First is National League for Democracy, which is headed by Aung San Suu Kyi, and Union Solidarity and Development Party, which is generally headed by the military. And in November 2020, elections were held to Myanmar's parliament, and the National League for Democracy has won the elections. After NLD winning the elections, the USDP, the Union Solidarity and Development Party, complained to the United Election Commission of Myanmar that these elections were full of irregularities, and this USDP has asked the United Election Commission of Myanmar to conduct an inquiry. So what did the United Election Commission of Myanmar did? It did not agree with the arguments of USDP, which is headed by the military, and it asked the government to present the same before the parliament. So the government thought of presenting it before the parliament. In fact, so this is the first session after elections were held to the Myanmar's parliament. And what happened before commencing the proceedings? An year-long emergency was imposed. So this is about the military coup in Myanmar. Now What is India's reaction to this? So this is the exact thing which I quote from the Ministry of External Affairs website, which is given as a press release. We have noted that the developments in Myanmar with deep concern. India has always been steadfast in its support to the process of democratic transition in Myanmar. We believe that the rule of law and the democratic process must be upheld. We are monitoring the situation closely. So this is the statement which is given by the Ministry of External Affairs on their website as a press note. And important issues with respect to India and Myanmar. First is Rohingya issue. Rohingyas are refugees who were exploited by the military at Myanmar, and they came out and started to settle in some parts of northeastern India and also Bangladesh. So with respect to the Rohingya issue, India is committed to ensuring safe, sustainable and speedy return of Rohingya refugees from refugee camps of India and Bangladesh. And with respect to security, India has been concerned over some militant groups like UNLF, that is United Nation Liberation Front, and National Democratic Front of Bodoland, which are taking shelter in Myanmar. So it is very, very important for India. And India assists infrastructure projects such as India Myanmar Thailand Trilateral Highway and also the Kaladan Multi-Modal Transit Transport Project. And this Kaladan project will link Kolkata to Sitwe port in Myanmar and then from Myanmar's Kaladan River to India's northeastern part. So these are the important issues with respect to India Myanmar. And fourth important topic is tweets and criminal charges. You must have seen in the news that Greta Thunberg, who is known as an environmental activist, so she recently shared a toolkit. So what is called as toolkit? She shared a toolkit, and that toolkit is going against the security of India, the integrity of India, the sovereignty of India. And Delhi police have registered a case against some unknown persons. It is not against Greta Thunberg. It is against some unknown persons who are trying to create some unrest, who are trying to affect or who are trying to cause some harm to the sovereignty and integrity of India. So what is this toolkit? So this toolkit has provoked the farmers. So Greta shared a toolkit that she said could be used to help farmers protest. The toolkit is a document which suggests peaceful actions such as holding a Twitter storm and protesting outside Indian embassies and the offices of Adani and Ambani corporates to mobilize support for the farmers' protest in India. So what are the charges that Delhi police have filed? So an FIR was registered under section 124A. So what is section 124A of IPC? That is sedition. 153 of IPC, that is wantonly giving provocation with intent to cause riot. And 153A is promoting enmity between different groups, and 120B, that is criminal conspiracy. Under these four sections, charges were registered by Delhi police against some unknown people who prepared that toolkit. So make sure that you remember these sections. 124A, that is sedition. 153 is wantonly giving provocation with intent to cause riot. 153A is promoting enmity between different groups, and 120B, that is criminal conspiracy. And let us see what are some important laws which are regulating social media in India. In India, social media platforms falls under the ambit of Information Technology Act, and the rules framed under the act, they are intermediaries guidelines that were notified in the year 2011 and also under the Indian Penal Code. See, social media platforms generally claim themselves as intermediaries, by which they mean that the content which is shared on their platform or published on their platform is not owned by them, but it is owned by or it is posted by or shared by the individuals who are using that particular platform. And these social media platforms are called as intermediaries, and they are governed by the intermediary guidelines which are framed under the Information Technology Act. Under the existing laws, social media channels are already required to take down content if they are directed to do so by a court or any other law enforcing agency. And there are also reporting mechanisms on these social media platforms where they exercise discretion to ascertain whether a reported post is violating community guidelines and needs to be taken down. And since this social media regulation is in the news, I would suggest you to take this as a homework and research on Section 66A of the IT Act, Information Technology Act, and its related case, that is Shreya Singhal versus Union of India. So take this as homework and research about it. Fifth important topic is 7 important facts from Finance Minister's budget speech. So during the introduction of budget speech, Finance Minister stated that 2021 is a year of milestones for our history, and these particular milestones are very, very important for ALET, SLAT, Maharashtra Set and other law entrance exams. So let's look into each one of those. First is 75th year of Indian independence. India is not going to celebrate its 75th year of Indian independence in 2021, but that is in 2022. But India will launch year-long celebrations from August 2021 to commemorate 75 years of independence, with a slew of programs and projects to showcase development, governance, technology, reform, progress, and policy over the years. So, this is about the year long celebration. And 2021 is also an year that marks 60 years of Goa's accession to India. Goa is celebrating the Diamond Jubilee, yes, Diamond Jubilee year of its liberation from Portuguese rule. So from the government of India's side, I propose a grant of rupees 300 crores. So this is the statement given by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. 300 crore rupees to the government of Goa for Diamond Jubilee year celebrations. And 2021 also marks 50 years of 1971 Indo-Pakistan War. The government of India on 3rd December 1971 decided that India will go with a war with Pakistan to save Bengali Muslims and Hindus. So this war, the Indo-Pakistan War of 1971, was fought for 13 days between India and Pakistan. And on 16th December 1971, the chief of Pakistani forces with 93,000 soldiers had surrendered unconditionally to the elite forces of Indian Army and Mukti Baini in Dhaka. So Mukti Baini refers to the armed organizations that fought against Pakistani army during the Bangladesh Liberation War. So Bangladesh was born on this day, that is 16th of December. Hence Bangladeshis celebrates its birthday, its Independence Day, as Bijoy Dibos, that is on 16th December every year. Fourth important fact is 2021 marks the 8th year of 8th decennial census in independent India. So the 8th decennial census of independent India will be the first digital census in the history of the country, and Finance Minister allocated rupees 3,768 crore rupees for carrying out the census in budget 2021-2022. And fifth important fact is India's turn at the BRICS presidency. India is going to chair the BRICS. So BRICS is an acronym for the grouping of world's leading emerging economies, namely Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So the BRICS Leaders Summit is convened annually. So the chairmanship of BRICS is rotated annually among the members in accordance with the acronym BRICS. So this year, India is going to chair the BRICS presidency. Sixth is the year of Chandrayaan-3 mission. So Chandrayaan-3 is a successor of Chandrayaan-2. Chandrayaan-2 mission. So it doesn't exactly mean successor, but it will be almost a repetition of July 2019 Chandrayaan-2 mission in the configuration of spacecraft, landing spot on the moon, and experiments to be conducted on the lunar surface. Unfortunately, in July 2019, Chandrayaan-2 mission could not achieve its desired objective. So its successor, or almost a repetitor of Chandrayaan-2, that is Chandrayaan-3, will be launched in the year 2021. Seventh and the last important fact is the year of Haridwar. Sorry, it is Haridwar here. So it is Haridwar Maha Kumbh Mela. So Kumbh Mela pilgrimage happens once every 12 years, and The exact time, date, and place, so that is dependent on some astrological predictions of planetary movements and religious considerations. So this year, Mahakumbh Mel will begin on January 14 and will continue till April 27 in Haridwar. In December 2017, UNESCO had included this event in the list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity. So this point is very, very important. And this year, Kumbh Mel in Haridwar is being held after 12 years, not the usual 12 years. So it is being held after 11 years, not the usual 12 years, because of specific auspicious dates. In fact, this is the first time in 80 years that such a phenomenon has happened. So in 80 years, this is the first time that Kumbh Mel in Haridwar is being held after 11 years. So these are 7 important facts that you should learn from Finance Minister's budget speech. So with this, we are coming to an end of the 5 most important current affairs topics from the first week of February. If you think that we have missed any topic or you want us to explain anything, feel free to drop it down in the comments below. We will be happy to explain those topics in our upcoming videos. And if you have any suggestion or query, feel free to drop it down in the comments below. And remember that the notes of this class will be shared on our Telegram channel Noobs Law School, and the link to the same will be dropped down in the description. So to get such regular updates, regular current affairs, critical reasoning, legal reasoning, English language, quant, and all other sections of CLAT, ALET, and other law entrance exams, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell icon to never miss an update when we upload a new video. So that's all for the first week of February. Bye bye. See you all in the next video.